Evans about to be done with yet another championship ring from minor league baseball. Rob Evans.
Thank you very much, Ed. And I tell you what, it was a long trip to get from there to here, let me tell you. The Crusaders are going to receive, as Ed mentioned, and we have a pretty good crowd here for the Crusaders home opener. All down below, the Crusaders dressed in their maroon home tops. Culver Stockton dressed in white with purple trim. And the ball was blown off the tee. The wind probably will be a little bit of a factor as David Collins gets set to kick it away. And back deep for the Crusaders. Have a trio of men. Let's see who they're going to kick it to. It's a high kick, and it's going to be taken by Gavin Jones at the 9-yard line. He's going to bring it straight ahead to the 30, 35, down at the 36-yard line. So the Crusaders get a good return, a return of probably, I want to say about 23, 24 yards when it's all said and done.
Go over the starters quickly for Evangel. John Skeens at quarterback. He'll have receiving core of Gavin Miller and Gavin Jones, Corey Knott the tight end, and Derek Clark and Warren Honore lining up behind him. And now Honore moves to the slot. We'll run down the line in a moment.
So Derek Clark is the lone setback. Honore comes in motion. Skeens with a pitch to Clark. He's going to turn the corner out over the 35, and he'll get out over the 40 to approximately the 41-yard line on first down. So it's going to be a pickup of 5 for Derek Clark. Clark having rushed for over 299 yards, so that'll put him over the 300-yard mark for the year.
He's running behind an excellent line, Rob. Scott Womack is the center. Chris Lewis, Shad McGuire, the guard and tackle on the left side. Anthony Robinson, the guard on the right side, along with Brian Bent in his 4th year as a starter. Bent, the right tackle.
Second down, Jones goes in motion, takes the handoff, tries to turn the corner, cuts back, and he is collared at the 44-yard line. There to make the stop, the outside linebacker, Ron Lewis.
Lewis is able to step around a blocker. Looked like Gavin Jones is going to be able to turn the corner, but Lewis sort of clotheslined him as he went running by. Still got positive yardage, still got 3 yards, so it's going to be a 3rd down and short situation, Rob.
3rd down, you're going to be looking at 2 yards to go. Just into the ball game. 13:35 to go in the first quarter. Out of the I set, Clark is going to get the call. He'll dance forward, dives forward to the 47, possibly the 48-yard line. And the Crusaders will have their initial first down of this football game.
Had a nice hole, Rob, but Joe Evans, the free safety, came flying up in the middle of that hole and able to trip up Clark as he went by, but still enough for the first down.
Yeah, the Crusaders, as Keith Bearfield mentioned on the pregame, really have not had that bona fide running threat to offset the passing game. This year they've got one.
And it's an interesting offense. They can go ball control, or when they need to catch up, they can score in a hurry.
Skeens is going to throw the ball over the middle. He was looking for Corey Knott at the 50. The ball bounced at the Culver 46-yard line. It was almost picked off.
Rob, we've really seen 2 different offenses the first 2 weeks. The McMurray game was a ball control offense with Clark really dominating it, and they ate up all sorts of time. They dominated time of possession. The Union game, they got in a hole quickly. They're down by 2 touchdowns, but they're able to score in a hurry utilizing the receivers. And that's something you like to see, Rob, because it's a very balanced attack. They can do a lot of different things out of it. They're going to give some defensive coordinators some headaches.
Out of the I formation, Miller to the far side, Jones to the near side. Clark gets the pitch. Big hole. He's hit at the 50 and falls forward to the Culver 49-yard line. There was a big hole there, but the secondary and the linebackers closed it up quickly.
Yeah, and Clark was never able to get a full head of steam heading into that hole. When he gets going, you can't bring him down. He's one of those guys that's just too big. He's 6'3" and 230, and when he gets a full head of steam, it's really tough for 1 or 2 guys to bring him down, especially out of the secondary, and he wasn't able to get in, going in full speed of the hole that time because they had it clogged up.
3 wide receivers, 2 to the near side. The Gavins, Miller and Jones, split to the near side. Fiesel to the far side. Skeens back to pass. The rush is on, and he's going to go down back at the Crusader 40-yard line. So that's going to bring up 4th and long.
Quarterback sack by the Wildcats.
And a punting situation for the Crusaders. That play never did develop.
No, because Eric Lewis, the end of the left side, came flying through there untouched, and Skeens really didn't have time to get back to the pocket.
Harder, averaging 37.2 yards per punt, hits it high. It's a spiral. It's going to be taken back at the 20-yard line. And Joe Evans is going to stutter step at the 15 after retreating to there and gets out to the 18-yard line.
Rob, the punt coverage for the Crusaders this year has been excellent, and you see it again there. They had the receiver back that time, Miles, completely swarmed, and there was nowhere for him to go. He winds up losing a lot of yardage on that play, and you see why Chris Harder has become the top punter in the conference.
Had a long of 47 against 48 yards, and he's averaging 37.2 yards per punt.
That's the top average in the league.
And that one went close to 40 yards on that particular punt. Chris Dutra calling signals. There's some motion on both sides of the ball, and flags are going to fly, and it looks like the left tackle for Culver, Tim Dowler, jumps offside.
Didn't have the countdown because he was up and blocking, and Crusaders, of course, jumped on movement, but Dowler was the only guy moving up front.
Dowler is sophomore at 260. They've got a little size on the line. At 270 right tackle on the other side, and Rob Boydston. And a couple of 250. Well, they average 250 the rest of the way across.
Haven't mentioned Sam Dollar, the inside linebacker, out. He's ill. He's the second leading tackler in the Crusaders. Jerry Knowles in there to start in his spot.
The handoff goes to Acevedo, and he's going to get to the 20-yard line. A long, tough run. He started in, then had to try to go to the outside, and eventually picks up 2, so it'll be second down. And actually picks up more than that. He's going to pick up 7. He had the 5 that they lost on the penalty, and then the 2 yards from the original line of scrimmage, so it'll be second down and 8. Jerry Knowles is in there at the other linebacker spot. Sager will move over to the other side. And of course, the way the Crusader defense is set, you can have as many as 4 linebackers. On the option pitch, it's going to be given to Chris Moore. Moore is going to try to turn the corner. The play is spread out, and he's going to end up losing a couple of yards, and it's going to bring up 3rd down and 10.
Great tackle by Bob Bailey in the open field, coming in from the cornerback spot to box that play in. They had the quarterback Dutra covered, but as soon as he pitched off, Bailey was right there, and they lose a bundle.
So coming into the
3rd and 9 for the Wildcats.
lineup for Culver Stockton, bringing in the play, going split to the far side is Joe Munier, a wide receiver, a sophomore from Perryville. They're going to have 3 men set to the wide side of the field, and now Munier comes to the near side. And Moore is the lone setback, and Dutra to pass. He is under the gun, and down he goes. In to trip him up was Jay Helwig, and he did it with one hand because he was blocked down, reached out, grabbed a hold of his ankle, and was able to throw him off balance and knock him down.
Just a great tackle by Helwig. You're right. He was sort of face first on the turf, but always alert, able to get in there and just get a hand in there and trip up the quarterback, and the Wildcats have to punt.
Bob Hatch averaging 36.8 yards a kick, strikes it from his own goal line, and the kick is going to be taken at the 49 down the near sideline. The Crusaders have a good return. It's going to go all the way inside the 15 down to the 11-yard line. Nathaniel Bell with the return, and he had the wall set up right down the near sideline.
A man, Nate Bell, had it. You're right. He had great blocking in front of him. Another late block by Gavin Miller around the 15-yard line allowed him to get just inside the 15 to about the 12, and the Crusaders have a great break here.
They're going to send Fizel and Jones to the far side with Jones in the slot. Knott's going to join him over there. Miller's to the near side. Clark the lone setback. Approximately 7 yards behind the line. He's going to take the handoff. Flags are thrown, and Clark is inside the 5 down to the 1. A good, tough, determined run by Derek Clark of 10 yards, but let's check the flag first.
Might be a hold that came in when the play was developing, and we'll see.
Offsides,
Oh.
Culver, Stockton. They'll probably decline the penalty, take the play, and set up first and goal or close to it at the 1 yard line.
Yeah, Clark got 11 yards in that nice carry, and they'll have 3 cracks at it from a yard out.
The play is going to be declined, and the Crusaders are going to have it first and goal with 9:39 to go in the first quarter. So the big punt return by Nate Bell sets up Clark's 10-yard run on first down. I guess it'd give him 11 as he picked up the first and goal from the 1 yard line. Power eye set. Clark dives into the end zone for the touchdown. So the Crusaders are on the board 6-0. And Derek Clark with his 4th touchdown run of the year.
His 5th touchdown overall. He's also had 1 receiving. So, and Evangel really hasn't had a guy that can power over a pile like that. He's a pretty good leaper, and he's big enough to where if you try to come up and stop him, he's going to knock you right off.
Chris Knowles in to attempt the extra point. He's 5 out of 6 this year. Gavin Miller the hold, and the kick is on the way, and it's no good. He missed it wide to the right. So with 9:25 to go in the first quarter, the Crusaders are on top 6-0, and we'll be back with a kickoff in 30 seconds.
Get ready. Back to you.
Rob Evans along with Ed Beach back at the Plaster Sports Complex after the Crusaders take a 6-0 lead. Knowles is getting set to kick it away. Shannon Miles is back deep. The kick is going to be taken at the 11-yard line. Miles is going to go to the 20, 25, straight up the middle. Tried to retreat, and there's Nate Bell to put the hit on him and knock him down at the 26-yard line.
He's having a great game at special teams already, isn't he? He's one of those guys, a freshman, but is strong and tough, and he's, I believe, going to be in there probably in the secondary trying to hopefully find a spot there, but that's loaded with talent. And he's going to have to make the most of his opportunities on special teams, and he's doing just that.
First down and 10 from the 26-yard line. Chris Dutra, 9 out of 17 a week ago for 118 yards in the tie with Trinity. Under center, long count, hand the ball off to Acevedo, and he's going to fight his way forward out to the 28-yard line. So Acevedo with a carry, and a host of Crusaders in on the stop. Jeff Sager, one of the leading tacklers on the club with 23 tackles, and on the stop. John Oglesby also in there as well.
Really, it's going to be have to step up defensively with Dollar out of there. Dollar, the 3rd leading tackler, and Sager's really carried most of the load defensively for Evangel. It's going to have to be a good, solid team effort today.
On second down and 7, Acevedo is going to get the call again, this time out over the 30 to the 33, possibly the 34-yard line, and they're going to be about 2 shy of a first down.
That was Ryan Helton, the tackle. Big 6-foot, 230-pound freshman, able to wrap up Acevedo that time. Got about 4 yards, but still Evangel all over that play. The Crusaders are young up front, Rob, but the coaching staff really feels good about the talent that they've got up there and thinks that defensive line, even though it's a lot younger than it was last year, will be a little bit improved from last season's squad.
2 wide receivers to the far side. Mitz and Moore going out there. And on the option, Acevedo is going to get the carry, and he's going to get the first down out over the 40, and he is wrapped up by Sager at the 43-yard line. But some good open field running by Acevedo, and he's going to end up picking up close to 8 yards at a first down.
Yeah, he was able to juke Bob Bailey, who was right there, able to get around him. And get enough for the first down. We have an injured Wildcat.
Official timeout.
That's Rob Boyston, the right tackle, who's the injured player.
Have that good running back who can get you those tough yards, then it becomes very difficult to score.
Boyston's walking off pretty much in his own power, which is a good sign because they were looking at his knee. It doesn't appear to be overly serious on his part.
Donnie Tucker comes split to the near side. 3 wide receivers to the far side. Lone setback. And that setback is Chris Moore. Dutra with a long count. He's going to run the option, pitch it back to Moore. He'll turn the corner at the 45 to the 50 into Crusader territory. And he is run out of bounds at the Evangel 47-yard line. Chris Moore, you can see why he was a big-time running back. He's got some moves.
Yeah, very swift, isn't he? Just really effortlessly got 8 or 9 yards on that carry. Just sort of blew past the Crusaders that time defensively. He put up some really impressive numbers in his high school career.
5,174 yards rushing and 86 touchdowns in his high school career at East St. Louis. Had 2,000 yards, 2,200 yards in his senior campaign. And he missed the first 2 games. Dutra back to pass. He steps up. The pocket collapses around him, and down he goes back at the Culver Stockton 47-yard line. And in on the stop, John Oglesby, who was able to wrap him up behind the line. Also in there for the Crusaders, they had a number of other people who were able to make the front line or give the front line perfect attendance on that sack. Ryan Helton was also in there as well.
Second sack already by the Crusaders defense. They didn't have very many coming into this game. In fact, they'd only had 4 sacks in their first 2 games. At this time, meeting the Wildcats up front here early.
Out of the I formation, man comes in motion. That's Tucker from one side to the other. He's on the near side. And Eddie Acevedo runs into his own blocker and is going to be stopped behind the line of scrimmage. He'll lose a couple of more yards. He got to the 45 as forward progress.
Well, he ran into his own blocker, then he ran into Troy Vanderheel, the outside linebacker, who wrapped him up and threw him to the turf, and another loss. So after the Wildcats get a couple of first downs, now they're going backwards.
3rd down and 17 with 6:13 to go. Clock moving here in the first quarter. The home opener for the Crusaders. They're 1-1 for the year. Culver Stockton 0-1. Dutra to pass. The rush is on. He gets away from one man. Still scrambling. Throws, and the ball is tipped and almost intercepted. He threw the ball right to Jerry Knowles, but he was hit before he threw the ball. And Dutra has to be helped up, and he's an unhappy camper as he leaves the field.
I don't know how he avoided not getting sacked, because he had to jump all over the place to avoid Crusader tacklers. And you're right, he's not happy because he didn't have any time to set up, and he avoided being intercepted by just gunning it as hard as he could, and that's why it wasn't caught. Knowles wasn't that far away from him.
Hatch to punt it. He'll hit it from his 34. It's a spiral kick. Bell makes the catch back at the 16 to the 20. He stutter steps at the 23, and he's going to be stopped there. So a return of 7 yards as Nate Bell returns his 2nd consecutive punt. So the Crusaders will have the ball on the 23-yard line. 1st down and 10 with 5:42 to go. Here in the first quarter, leading 6-0. Feazell and Miller go split to the far side with Jones in the slot. Not the tight end is in tight on the near side, and Clark is the lone setback out of a 3-point stance. They give it on the shovel pass to Jones. He's got a couple of blockers out in front of him, out over the 30. He trips and falls forward to the 34-yard line, but that's going to be good for 12 yards and a 1st down. The little shovel pass that went straight ahead.
Stop was made by
It's a nice way to get a completion for the quarterback and some receiving yards for the receiver, because it looks like a handoff, but the ball is thrown, about 5-6 feet forward.
Yeah, and if it's dropped, it's a dead ball.
Exactly.
It's a forward pass, but Crusaders got good yardage out of a play that's been pretty well bottled up by defenses for the first 2 games.
Quick pitch back to Clark. He drops it, but is able to fall on it. And he's going to recover the ball back at the 31-yard line. It's going to result in a loss of 4 yards. And it'll be second down and 14 yards to go. Clark, 2 100-yard rushing performances, 154 yards and 2 touchdowns at McMurray, 145 yards on 19 carries and a touchdown at Union.
It's impressive, his yards per carry, 5.6 yards every time he carries the football is his average. That's impressive count.
Transfer out of Florida State, where he played defensive back. Play action fake. Skeens is going to roll. The rush is on. They're going to swing the ball back to Clark. They've got the screen set up down the near side of the 45. Runs over a tackler into Culver territory. And he's going to be down right at midfield is where the official's going to spot the ball. So the screen play works to perfection. They had 3 guys out in front of him. And if a guy like Clark needs any help at all, that makes it even rougher. But he's big enough to run over guys by himself.
That's right. And really, when you have a guy like Clark, that also helps you set up your play action game. Skeens, though, was under pressure, but able to find Clark quickly, and they did have that screen set up. They were able to get great blocking that right side. That
was designed pressure, and Skeens got a little more than he thought he was going to get, but was able to roll away from it. The Crusaders are going to take time with 4:05 to go in the first half. 6-0 Evangel, and we'll be back. The Plaster Sports Complex with 4 minutes and 5 seconds to go in the first quarter. The Crusaders obviously seeing something that they did not like on the Culver Stockton defense, or they weren't sure about their own pass or play that they had called.
Well, they can afford to burn a timeout now. They're in midfield. It's no first half. They like to get organized and make sure everybody's on the same page, because this would be a good time to get Culver 2 touchdowns behind early in this game, because the defense has stepped up and played well early on. If they can get Culver into a hole, they may not be able to dig out of it.
3 wide receivers to the far side. Feazell in the slot. Jones in the middle. Miller split to the far side. Clark the lone setback. Throw the ball behind Gavin Jones. That ball is a live ball, and it's going to be out of bounds.
Nobody ever had it.
Nobody got control, so it should be Crusader football.
Culver's sidelines saying or claiming possession, but it looked like a Wildcat was sliding for it as he went out of bounds, but then the ball came loose again, so he didn't have control of it enough, so it's going to go as a big loss.
On the lateral, the loss is going to move it all the way back on second down to the 38-yard line, so it's going to be a loss of 12 yards on the play. This time, Gavin Miller and Feazell will come split to the near side. Knott's going to line up. On the far side is the tight end. Jones in the slot to the near side. Clark the lone setback. On the draw play, Derek Clark has no room to run. Tries to cut to the outside and manages to get closer to the line of scrimmage than he had a right to get. He ends up losing a couple of yards on the play, when in reality he was boxed in about 6-7 yards back behind the line.
Still going to lose a yard, it looks like, but I tell you, the pretty good defensive call by Culver Stockton. They went to man coverage that time, and as soon as they saw the draw, they called off the defensive backs, and they came charging up. They helped bottle that play up, and now it's 3rd and about a mile.
23 to be exact. Miller to the near side. Jones is going to go split to the far side. Man in the slot. The shovel pass goes to Jones, and that one is bottled up. It's going to get no gain, and it'll bring up 4th down in the punting situation. 4th and a block and a half. And we're under 3 minutes to go here in quarter number 1. The Crusaders with a 6-0 lead. A reminder, you're listening to Evangel College football on KLFJ Radio, Springfield, Missouri. Rob Evans and Ed Beach back at the Plaster Sports Complex. Harder hits it from his 25-yard line. It's going to be fair caught by Miles at his own 25. Looking at 43 yards on the punt. 38 yards.
1st and 10 for the Wildcats from their own 25.
It may be week 3 for you, but it's opening day for me. I can't read the sign language yet, pal. 6-0 Evangel. Harder with a 38-yard punt, averaging 37.2. And Chris Dutra with the back split behind him will hand it off to Acevedo, and he's going to be nailed at the line of scrimmage by the nose guard, Ike Bowen, 6 foot, 200-pound freshman. You know, they talk a lot about him, about how strong he is, and he's able to play that position even though he is not that large.
That's right, and that's impressive. Usually the nose guard is a guy that, at least at this level, has got to weigh up 230 to 245 and have a little bit of quickness. Certainly a kind of a small, stout individual, but needs to be one of the stronger guys up front. And Bowen is that. Only a freshman.
No gain, 2nd down and 10. We're under 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. Evangel up 6-0. Ball on the 25. Play action pass. Dutra fires over the middle. Has Tucker at the 30, and he's going to fight his way out to the 34-yard line. He'll be about a yard short of the first down as Donnie Tucker makes the catch. Coming out of the backfield, a reserve wide receiver who, on a couple of occasions in this game, has been lining up as a tight end.
First time today, really, Dutra has had time to throw. He's been sacked twice and completed another pass under pressure. This time he was able to sit back in the pocket, had some protection, and able to find a guy cutting across the middle. A good-looking pass play there that sets up 3rd and short.
This is a Culver ball club that had 242 yards in total offense in their first game. 118 of it in the air. 1 minute to go in the first quarter. Play action fake. Dutra under the rush. Throws it out. Acevedo makes the catch at the 29. He has the first down out over the 40. Over the 45. And out of bounds along the far side at the 46-yard line.
Pass complete to number 25, Acevedo.
So Eddie Acevedo makes the catch.
Stop is made by number 51.
With 48 seconds to go, Culver Stockton with the 1st and 10 on their own 46-yard line.
And that time, Dutra really didn't have time to throw. Backpedaling and running for his life. He was able to find his little outlet man in Acevedo, and they were able to get a first down out of that. A la the Crusaders when they found Clark on a screen that way.
Dutra had one pass intercepted, but he's been on the money so far today. And on the option, Acevedo gets the pitch right at the line of scrimmage. He slips and falls, maybe gets a couple of feet forward progress. So basically, it'll be 2nd down and give him a yard. 2nd down and 9 with 15 seconds to go in the first quarter, and that may have been the last play of quarter number 1.
Like Chris Lopez is waiting on that play. He just put his shoulder right into the midsection of Acevedo.
At the end of 1, it's the Crusaders 6, the Wildcats nothing, and we'll be back with the second quarter in 30 seconds.
Crusaders lead 6-0.
Because I didn't have. Rob Evans, along with Ed Beach, back at the Plaster Sports Complex. At the end of 1 quarter, it's 6-0 Evangel. Derek Clark, after a 39-yard punt return by Nate Bell, caps it off with an 11-yard run and then a 1-yard run to get the touchdown at the 9:25 mark of the first quarter. The Crusaders have a 6-0 lead, second quarter, and here's Ed.
Thanks, Rob. Culver Stockton in their best drive of the afternoon have 2nd down and 9 from their own 46. A motion on the line will blow the play dead as the right guard came up out of his stance, Mark Conkle, and this will push Culver back 5.
Penalties, their second penalty for 10 yards.
They've also had one wiped off on that play on that 11-yard Derek Clark run.
Overcast today, 67 degrees. The threat of rain existed, but I don't think it's going to happen. It's rather nice, pleasant, early fall afternoon as the Crusaders open up the season.
Great playing conditions. Dutra back to throw, under pressure. Dumps a pass over the middle, caught by Moore at the 40. At the 45, 50, turns the corner. Into Crusaders territory, it is knocked out of bounds inside the 40 at the 39. Again, the screen pass is again Dutra under pressure was able to dump it off.
You're not going to see that very often. This tells you what kind of runner Chris Moore is. He ran over Rodney Burns. And not many people run over Rodney Burns. That was an outstanding play, and you could see the rush getting in, but the rush got in because they wanted the rush to get in. They had that play set up. He had 3 men out in front of him and picks up big yardage. Ball on the 40-yard line. First down and 10 for the Culver Stockton Wildcats.
Dutra, even though he's been sacked twice, is 3 of 4 passing for 35 yards early. Another first down for Culver Stockton from the Evangel 40. Their deepest penetration of the afternoon. Handoff to Acevedo, who turns the corner. He's at the 35 and taken down right at the 30. He's going to be about a yard shy of the first down, it looks like. The first down marker actually closer to about the 29.
Cornelius Thompson with the stop. And good job by Acevedo to get to the outside. The Crusaders had the whole stop, the one that he originally wanted to go through. So without making it appear to do so, he just kind of veered to the outside and was able to get out there and pick up close to 10 yards. Give him 9. He's going to be a little bit short of the first down.
Well, Culver Stockton now has a down to play with. Second down and less than a yard, and they send 3 wide outs to the near side. Chris Moore in the slot to the near side, 1 wide out left. Acevedo, the lone back behind the quarterback, Dutra. Dutra rolls to his left. It's an option play, pitches it to Acevedo, who fumbles the football, and the Crusaders have fallen on it at the 21. A flag is down in the backfield of Culver Stockton, so we'll see what's happened, but Evangel has recovered the fumble on the play.
I was about ready to say, well, they're going to catch holding. I thought he almost threw the ball forward.
Penalty was against the Wildcats.
The holding penalty is going to be declined, and the Crusaders get the turnover. Evangel has recovered 6 fumbles this year.
Their plus minus is pretty good. +5 coming into today. That time it looked like Bob Bailey had that one.
Well, it's now +6 because they were able to come up with a fumble, and that's Bailey's first fumble recovery to go along with an interception.
So first down and 10 at Evangel, for Evangel at their own 20. 13:57 left in the first half. Evangel up by 6, and Warren Honore gets his first call of the day, and he gets good yardage up over the 25 to about the 26.
Honore with 14 yards rushing. His job at 6 foot, 210 pounds, get people out of the way for Mr. Clark. That's the fullback's unsung workman-like chore, and one that he has done a good job with so far this year.
So he has. Every now and then he can get good yardage, as he did there, as he got 6 yards, and it's second down and 4 from Evangel at their own 26. Wide receivers left and right. Hand off to the second man through Clark. Big hole. He's at the 30. Breaks a tackle at the 35, the 40, and is finally tripped up after he picks up the first down at about the 40, 41-yard line. They mark it at the 41, a first down for the Crusaders.
Shannon Miles, the right cornerback, makes the stop, and you were right about that. Clark was able to get to the outside, and Honore is going to come out of the lineup. He's one of those guys, to go back to what we were talking about, is that if you key too much on Clark, he's a guy who can hurt you. He's not just a guy who goes out to get people's way. He does a good job of running when he gets the opportunity.
Clark got 15 yards on that play. First down and 10 for the Crusaders. Here's Clark again. Big hole. He's at the 50, 45, 40, and he's gone. Derek Clark going 59 yards for the touchdown run, and the Crusaders lead by 2 touchdowns.
That was one of those plays, you can call it a quick opener. Once he was able to break free and get 10 yards past the line of scrimmage, it was all over.
Derek Clark's touchdown run.
12:47 left in the first half. Clark had a huge hole in that right side, opened up by blocking really the strong side of the Evangel line, Rob. Anthony Robinson at 6 foot, 275, and the veteran Brian Bent at 6'3", 285. And that was a monstrous hole, and Clark had a full head of steam. Nobody was going to catch him. If they wanted to get in his way, they were going to be a grease spot on the OmniTurf. Knowles in for the extra point, snap back, and it's a fake. They pitch it ahead to Honore, who stumbles forward but can't get the first down, or can't get inside the goal line, and the run, or the little shuffle pass, fails, and we have a 12-0 score with 12:47 left. Crusaders up by 2 touchdowns. We'll be back to the Plaster Sports Complex in 30 seconds. Beach back with Rob Evans at Blaster Field. Evangel up 12-0 now. Derek Clark with 2 touchdowns on the day, a 1-yard run and a 59-yard run that broke the 2 touchdown lead.
I think it's safe to assume that Mr. Clark will be close to his 3rd consecutive 100-yard game today.
That's 79 now.
I'd say that's close. That qualifies as close, doesn't it?
Knowles in to kick it away. Standing deep for Culver. Stockton, Tyrone, or make that Shannon Miles. He makes the catch 3 yards deep in the end zone and brings it out at the 15, the 20, and is met hard and taken down to the 21. And Culver Stockton will set up shop there. They had a good-looking drive last time, but it ended in a turnover as Acevedo coughed the ball up, and the Crusaders took over the football and able to convert that into points.
This is a series, Ed, that the Crusaders have dominated. A 1-point win the first time they played back in '77. Culver's only win at Culver in '78. And their other win in the series, quote unquote, was a 6-61 score. I guess you got to list the winning team first. But that was, of course, during the 1988 season.
Evangel has posted really impressive offensive numbers against this team in recent years. Just have a veteran defense this time, but long count by Dutra. Let's see what they try at 1st down and 10. Fires a pass that short tops the intended receiver. He was looking for Lance Mitz, and it goes incomplete.
Well, they've got a new coach, his 2nd year, Al Tamborelli. He was on the staff at Baker University, and you know what kind of hard-nosed football they play at Baker. And I think he is starting to try and instill that same type of hard-nosed attitude here with Culver Stockton. It's going to take him a year or 2 to get the players, but got a guy like Chris Moore this year, and that's saying something.
Yeah, that's right. I formation set this time for Culver Stockton on 2nd down and 10 from their own 21. Dutra takes the snap, hand off to Moore up the middle, and he can't get anywhere as the Crusaders stack him up at the 23 and push him back. That's a gain of 1 or 2 at best.
You're looking at a guy like Moore. Yeah, he signed originally to go to Illinois and was, Prop 48. So he was unable to play for the Illini this year. But he could have gone to a junior college and got eligible and in 2 years gone back to a Big Ten or a big-time school. But instead he chose to come here. And the fact that Culver was able to get him is a feather in their hat.
Plus, able to get him over the other NAIA and small college institutions in that state.
Exactly.
A couple other good ones. 3rd down and 9 now for Culver from their own 23. Wide receivers left and right, and Dutra back to throw. Gets hit as he throws, and the ball is bobbled and caught by the tight end for Culver Stockton.
Donnie Tucker came up and made the catch coming over the middle. He's been listed as a wide receiver, but sometimes you find where you're listed and where you play is 2 different things. And he's lined up as the tight end several times and caught that one coming across the middle. I think he was hearing footsteps because there was nobody near him, but he thought there was, and he had trouble with his concentration, bobbled the ball, but then was able to recover and catch it.
Dutra got popped, though. Waited a split second longer to throw that pass. That would have been Evangel's 3rd sack of the day. 3 wide receivers to the left, one to the right. Pitch to Acevedo, who turns the corner, and he's knocked out of bounds. Has 1st down yardage, it looks like, as he got checked out at about the 43. It should be just enough for the 1st. And in fact, looks like where they're spotting it just beyond the marker. And so a 10-yard pickup for Acevedo.
Andy Ford that time got brought down, and that's what made the play. Donnie Tucker threw the block. I say threw the block, or should I say grabbed his jersey and pulled him down. They didn't catch that one, but that's what made that particular play.
Another 1st and 10 for Culver. Ball spotted on the left hash mark at their own 43. 3 wide receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Dutra, high pitch, but gets it away to Acevedo, but the Crusaders drag him out of bounds as Jeff Sager came up through there and pushed him out. We have a loose ball, and Evangel has it.
He popped the ball free before he pushed the runner out of bounds. He separated the ball and the runner. The runner went out of bounds. The ball popped back over, and the Crusaders are going to get it on the fumble recovery.
Wow. That was a good-looking tackle by Sager. I didn't see him strip the ball away, but he was able to do that. 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage on the option. And so Evangel takes over possession in Culver Stockton territory at the 42. 11:16 to play in the first half. Evangel up by 12 and looking for more as they send 3 wide receivers left. Clark, the lone running back, behind John Skeens, the quarterback. Skeens fakes the handoff, rolling to his left, looking to throw. Now guns it deep, going to the end zone for James Feazell, and the pass is just offline. It was to the left of Feazell and incomplete.
Isn't it amazing when you get the reputation of a James Feazell that every time you step on the field, you take two guys with you? Because he was double covered. They did a good job covering him up that time. The guys that are coming back, Corey Straighten, their left cornerback, and Shannon Miles on the right side. They put both of their corners on Feazell.
Interesting when you talk to James Feazell about how his approach to the game has changed after having left for 3 or 4 years. He said he's really going to get up more mentally than he had in the past. He knew he had the physical talent to dominate at this level years ago, but now he said he has to get up more mentally. Talk a little bit more about that in a second, sort of like he did against Nebraska Wesleyan. Handoff and a draw play to Clark. Dances across the 40 and is stuck hard and drives ahead to the 39. Only a pickup of about 3 yards, and it's going to be 3rd and long coming up for Evangel. But Feazell was talking about that really he got up for that playoff game against Nebraska Wesleyan after he was chosen, 3rd team all-conference, which was sort of a joke in and of itself. But really said that he wants to be more mentally prepared week in and week out, as opposed to just like he was last year when he showed up and knew that his speed and his physical talent would take care of itself.
Also, you get a little bit older, and there's some younger guys coming along. You're the experienced gunslinger, so to speak, and other guys are looking to knock you off.
Feazell in motion to the near side. Skeens back to throw. Dumps a pass off to Clark at the 35. At the 30, tries to break a tackle, but winds up out of bounds on the near sideline at about the 27. Late flag in there. This could be an unsportsmanlike as somebody could have given an extra shove. And it's going to be on Culver. Feazell reacting and pointing his finger at the secondary.
Holding Evangel.
Go against Evangel.
No, a personal foul now as well.
So the penalties will offset because there was a flag at the line of scrimmage over here and then the personal foul on the tail end of the play.
Well, we'll replay the 3rd down and 7. That hurts Evangel anyway because they had first down yardage. Clark picked up about 9 yards. It'll be wiped out. And the Crusaders will have to go back to the drawing board. 3rd down and 7 from the Culver Stockton 39.
Well, the officials for today, the listed officials, Norman Brooks is the referee, Ken Bradshaw the umpire, the linesman Ken Rafferty, the line judge is Russ Weber, Phil Strompoli is the field judge, and the back judge is Carl King.
Let's see, they marked the ball up. Actually, they were going to have some yardage assessed because you go 10 yards from the spot of the foul backwards and then 15 yards up because the penalty happened at the tail end. So Evangel gets a first down out of this, and Culver Stockton gets the worst end of this deal. It's not a replay of downs like we mentioned earlier. The Crusaders have the ball moved up about 6 yards, 6 or 8 yards. That's enough for the first down. That's interesting. Don't see that happen every day. So Evangel now has the ball at the Culver Stockton 34, first down and 10. Wide receivers left and right into the power I formation. Hand off to the second man through Clark, met at the 33. Ball is loose, and we'll see who has it. The Crusaders claiming possession. No, it's Culver Stockton.
Culver thought they had possession, and the official pointed the wrong way, and now he says that it is Wildcat football. So the Crusaders suffering their second fumble loss of the year.
And Culver Stockton takes over possession at their own 33. The ball came out late that time, Rob, a wild scramble, and the Wildcats had a number of people in there.
Yeah, we were talking last night with former Kickapoo head coach Jim Pearson about where fumbles occur on the field or how bad they will hurt you. We'll talk about that here in a moment.
First down and 10 for Culver Stockton. I formation, wide receivers left and right. Hand off to the first man through, and Moore, he stood up at the line of scrimmage. Flag comes flying in as Moore surged for about 2 yards.
Michael Odom, the outside linebacker, there to make the stop for the Crusaders. Odom, freshman out of Potah, Oklahoma.
Holding on Culver Stockton.
Interesting call here. Do you take the down or you take the yards?
That is interesting.
Jeff Sager will discuss it, look over to the bench for some guidance, and Keith Bearfield says mark him back.
It's a loss of down anyway, but we'll see.
We were talking last night about fumbles, and you can have the same number of fumbles, but yet one team can convert all of those into points. The other team, because of the distance between the point of the fumble, will end up coming up empty-handed. The Crusaders, when Culver's made a mistake, it's been down where Evangel could take advantage of it.
On 2nd down and 19, Dutra back to throw under pressure. He's wrapped up and taken down.
Quarterback sack, number 99,
John Oglesby in on the stop back at the 14-yard line, so you're going to lose close to 9 more yards.
3rd sack of the day by the Evangel defense, and it's going to be 3rd and a bundle for Culver. 2nd and a bundle, I should say. As they do push it back all the way to the 14-yard line, they've got to get to their own 43.
So you're looking at close to 29 yards for a first down. Anyway, to wrap up that thought on turnovers and stuff, if you turn the ball over inside your own 20 and turn it over on the other guy's 20, there's a big difference there. And that's what's happened in this one.
2nd down and 28. Moore, the lone running back behind Dutra, the quarterback. He's back to throw, dumps a pass over the middle to Moore, who caught it and then dropped it, and it's incomplete. And it's going to be 3rd and about half the length of the football field for the first down. Dutra today, 4 of 7 passing, 46 yards. But he's been sacked 3 times, and that's played a big part of the passing defense for Evangel. Interesting, we've seen the Crusaders' pass defense really be highlighted by that secondary, and of course it's back there and good again, but something we haven't seen from them is the good aggressive pass rush that they're displaying today. If they can get that going, it will be a tough defense indeed. 3rd down and 28 for Culver Stockton. Ball spotted at their own 14. Dutra back to throw. Flags fly as Dutra lets it go over the middle, and it's intercepted. Picked off of the 28 by Rodney Burns, and he carries it back inside the 10 to the 8-yard line.
Rodney Burns has just tied Gerald Miller with his 11th career interception. And he's going to return it inside the 10-yard line down to the 8, but let's see what the flag is now.
They're talking to Sager, so it looks to be on Culver Stockton. Motion on Culver, and the Crusaders get a turnover. Rocket Rodney with interception number 11 of his young career.
That's what we were talking about, where the turnover occurs. The Crusader turnover occurred 70 yards from their own goal line. Culver's turnover occurs, and the end result is they're 9 yards away. And the Crusaders have got an excellent opportunity to punch in to go another touchdown. Already leading 12-0.
1st down and goal for the Crusaders at the Culver Stockton 8. I formation set for Evangel. Motion up front. Hand off to the first man through. Honore tries to turn the corner. He's at the 5 and into the end zone. Touchdown. No flags on the play. We said motion up front. Some Wildcats were jumping and moving around, but didn't get off too early. But it didn't matter as a handoff went to Honore. He broke a tackle at the 5. Spun away from another and then dragged the tackler in and bounced his way into the end zone, and Evangel is up by 3 touchdowns now with 8:39 to play in the first half. Warren Honore, a 8-yard run, and Knowles in for the extra point. Snap back, the ball is down, the kick is on the way from Knowles. Perfect, but flags fly, and we'll see what's up here, so we'll hold it here momentarily.
Looks like it's going to be a penalty on the Wildcats.
I think they had too many men in the field. And the Crusaders will wipe that off, take the points, and they'll assess the yardage on the kickoff. And we'll have that kickoff coming up after this 30-second timeout on KLFJ.
Rob, can we get any more juice out of your mic?
What's that?
Can we get any more juice out of Rob's mic? He's a little bit low.
Billy goes against the Wildcats, putting in on the field.
You ready?
It is 19-0 Evangel. with 8:39 left and yardage being assessed on the Culver Stockton penalty at the tail end of the extra point. The ball will be spotted at the 50, and Knowles from here can smash it right on out of the end of the stadium.
Well, he kicked one into the end zone about 3 yards deep when he kicked it off from the normal spot. So now he has it teed up right at midfield.
Knowles puts his foot into the football and drives it way out of the end zone. That bounced about 4 or 5 yards out of the other end. And Culver Stockton will set up shop in their own 20. A reminder, next week we have an open week, but our next football broadcast will be a big Heart of America Conference contest for Evangel. You know, we joke about the "You Can't Get There From Here" tour.
That
will take an interesting turn as we head to and try to find Amelia Earhart Stadium. Not making this up. That's where the Benedictine Ravens play. Amelia Earhart Stadium in Atchison, Kansas, as the Crusaders take on Benedictine at the 7 o'clock start, October 3rd.
Maybe that's where she ended up, and that's the reason why they couldn't find her.
Ooh. Who would ever look in Atchison, Kansas? Actually, that's where she was born and raised, yes. Yeah. Dutra back to throw, first down and 10. Ball deflected at the line of scrimmage, and it's a loose ball, and Evangel has it. Crusaders get another turnover as the ball was deflected. It bounced around in the air, and somehow a Crusader came out of there with it.
It ended up in the hands of Ryan Helton after Oglesby tipped the ball. It's an interception by the lineman.
That's the wildest thing you'll ever see.
So next week when you start looking at the numbers, you've got to put an INT next to Ryan Helton's name.
Helton, the right tackle. But I'll tell you, I thought one of the offensive linemen was going to catch that ball, Rob, because it looked like he had a hands on it, but instead he just hung the ball up, and Helton was able to take it away from him.
Yeah, it was close. They were both going for it, and Helton was able to be the aggressor and come up with it.
So 1st and 10 from the Evangel 15. Jones gets the shuffle pass and stopped at the line of scrimmage. There's a Crusader going to be down in this play, I think. Slow getting up is Shad McGuire, but he's up limping, and they're going to replace him. Alex Bryant comes in and hope that McGuire's all right.
He looks like he's going to be okay. Limping off, and now he's still on his feet along the side. Coach Charlie Lynn's going to go over and take a look at him.
7 miles.
2nd down and call it 10 from the Culver Stockton 15. Ball spotted just inside the 15. Wiesel came on the field, now back off. I formation set. Hand off to Honore. Honore at the 10, stumbles into about the 9. And Honore a bit frustrated. I thought he saw Pater at that time, cutting to his left, but lost his footing.
He said, I had touchdown number 2 right there. And slipped and fell because he had the cut back, and if he's able to plant his foot firmly and make that cut, there's a good chance he could get by and get into the end zone.
They gave him 5 yards in the carry. Ball spotted now at the 10. Wide receivers left and right. Corey Knott set to the left side, the tight end. I formation. And Skeens back to throw. Rolling right, has time. Humps once, now gunning for the end zone and overthrows Gavin Miller about 5 yards deep in the end zone on the far side, and it's going to be 3rd down coming up for the Crusaders.
Corey Strayton was there. I think Gavin thought he might have been held up on the play. Skeens, when he was rolling, really didn't have much choice. The only way he could have gotten that in would be to put a little loft on the ball. And it's going to bring up 4th down and 5. And Chris Knowles is going to try a field goal. He's 2 out of 3 this year with a long of 30. And this one is going to be approximately 27 yards.
From the near hash mark with the wind. Snap back, ball down, the kick is up there, and perfect. 7:01 left, first half of play. Evangel takes a 22-0 lead over Culver Stockton, back to Plaster in 30 seconds.
Oh my God.
Ed Beach with Rob Evans back at the Plaster Sports Complex, where that cannon's been firing off shells left and right this period. Evangel's put up a bunch of points, 2 touchdowns and a field goal. Not even halfway through the first half yet, or through this second period. Yet 22-0 Evangel with 7:01 to play in quarter number 2 as Knowles sets to kick off again. Shannon Miles back deep to receive once again. Kick is away. Straight down the middle. Miles takes it at the 7. Heads upfield to the 20 and cut down there by Jay Helwig. Tripped up right at the 20-yard line. That's where Culver Stockton will set up again. Actually, they mark it at the 22, a generous spot. But Culver Stockton now in a deep hole. 6:55 to play, down 22 points.
The Crusaders on top 22-0. I think the one thing that they have been happy with, though, more so than the offense, is the fact that the defense, which was riddled last week, and what they did a lot of work on it this week, and against a ball club that is improving offensively, they've been able to keep them shut out and force some turnovers.
4, in fact, this afternoon, all this quarter. Dutra under center, hands off to Chris Moore, stumbles across the 25 and down around the 27. Nice pickup for Moore in the first down play, and it's going to be second down and about 4 or 5 coming up for Culver Stockton. In fact, they gave him about 5 yards in the play. I would call it 2nd and 5 for Chris Moore. Has been pretty well contained. 4 carries, 13 yards for the star running back out of East St. Louis. Second down and a long 5 for Culver Stockton. I formation set once again. Wide receivers left and right. Dutra a long count. Fakes the handoff. Ball is loose again, and Dutra falls back on it. It was a play action fake, but when he put the ball into the running back's hip, the ball came out. Now, in essence, the running back knocked the ball right out of Dutra's hands, but the quarterback, Dutra, was able to fall back on it, but still they lose 3 yards, and it's going to be 3rd down and 8.
That's the kind of play where you could tell that the connection never was made, Ed. And if the ball hits him in the hip, and it'll usually squirt free like that. Fortunately, Culver was able to come up with the loose ball.
3rd down and 8 for Culver Stockton. Dutra back to throw. Rolling left. Fires a pass in the run that is caught and then dropped. Looking for Acevedo on the far side. It went right through his hands, and 4th down coming up.
Have some scores. A final from the world of college football. USC with a 20-10 win over Oklahoma. Houston leading Illinois 23-7 in the 3rd, and in the 4th, it's Michigan 28, Oklahoma State 3.
In there to punt it away for Culver Stockton is Bob Hawk, averaging 36.8 yards per punt. That's second best in the conference, and as he gets the snap, whistles blow the play dead. We'll see what's happening. No flags.
Yeah, there was one right down by the line of scrimmage, and they lined up offside. The Wildcats did, so that's going to march them back 5.
Helps Evangel. I don't think they had the right personnel in because they made a late substitution. As during the little break during the penalty. And now Hawk stands at his own 5. Will knock it away from about the 10. The snap goes through his legs. Ball is loose, and Evangel has it at the 1-yard line. Only guy disappointed there is Nate Bell, who sort of walks slowly back to the sideline saying, I wanted to return that sucker. But the Crusaders will take over the football at the Culver Stockton 1.
And coming up with that ball was Bob Bailey, sprinting in from the right side of the Crusader defensive set. And right away, Evangel once again basically in the end zone. They've got 1.5 yards to go.
Stats are going to look funny because Evangel hasn't had to go very far to score, so yardage may be in favor of the Wildcats. Who knows? But timeout on the field. Culver Stockton wants to talk. 5:21 to play in the first half.
I have 1 60-second commercial. Get ready? Back to you.
Ed Beach back with Rob Evans. Evangel has the ball at the Culver Stockton 1 and looking to power it in. They've got 3 downs to do so. First and goal. Here's Clark diving over the top, and he is in for the score. Derek Clark's 3rd touchdown of the day, and Evangel up big. Clark diving right over the top of the pile for the 1-yard run, and it is 28-0 Crusaders. A late flag is thrown. Unsportsmanlike conduct on the Culver Stockton sidelines, and Rob, they're calling over the coaches. We might have an ejection. Officials did not like something that as the players were walking off the football field that time, and the referee, Norman Brooks, threw the flag. Unsportsmanlike on Culver Stockton. I guess they'll assist that on the kickoff. And here comes Knowles in for the extra point. .5:18 left in the first half as Knowles looks to put Evangel up 29-0. There's the snap. Kick is on the way, and perfect. 5:18 to play. It's 29-0 Evangel. Back to Plaster in 60 seconds. Time. 60.
5:18 left in the half. It's Evangel 29, Culver nothing. After the touchdown, we had a dead ball foul against the Wildcats. Sportsmanlike conduct. Penalties being assessed on the kickoff.
It feels good to be back home, doesn't it, Rob? Evangel up 29-0 over Culver Stockton as Knowles has the ball set at the 50, knocks it high into the air, and it's taken by Miles at the 1. Turns upfield, it is nailed at the 10-yard line and driven back to the 5. Crusaders had great coverage that time as they may have caught Culver Stockton off guard as Knowles this time, instead of knocking it out of the end zone, decided to loft it high up into the air. Miles had to make the catch, and the Crusaders got downfield in a hurry, and Culver Stockton doesn't even have a good field position to work with. They have the ball at their own 10, down by 29 points with 5:10 left in the half. Home folks seeing the Crusaders for the first time and seeing a pretty impressive display, Rob.
Well, they certainly are, and I'm impressed with the job that the defense has been doing so far. They've been forcing turnovers, and that's been the reason why it's a 29-0 ball game.
5 turnovers today on Culver Stockton, in fact. Dutra rolling left is wrapped up and taken down, and the ball comes loose again. Troy Vanderheuvel wrapped up the quarterback, but the ball was fallen on up front by Chris Fletcher, the center.
Well, this series, Ed, has produced some one-sided games in the past. You stop and look at the 61, and I'm talking about since the resumption of the series in 1988. 61-6 Evangel win on the field. The next year they went up at Canton and won 54-36. Then it was a 21-13 game here a couple of years ago, and the Crusaders won 38-12 last year.
This is by far the best team Culver has had, though, in those 4 or 5 seasons. Dutra back to throw, fires to Acevedo at the 15, escapes the tackler there, but then is wrapped up and taken out of bounds at about the 17 or 18-yard line. They needed yardage that time and got it, but it's going to be 3rd down and short.
That's the reason why this makes what is happening so far here in the first half and in the second quarter in particular impressive, is that this is a good Culver Stockton ball club, better than we've seen out of them in the past.
Yeah, lest people think that in the past, if they've seen this series, I think we're blowing a lot of smoke. In fact, this is improved in a tie last week on the road. Coming from behind is something Culver Stockton just has not been capable of doing in a long time, but they were able to get it done. On 3rd down and 2, ball is pitched to Moore, escapes a tackler, breaks a tackle, and surges ahead to the 20. That's why we've been impressed with Culver Stockton plays like that is Chris Moore able to create something out of nothing. He only got 3 yards, but that's all they needed as they picked up first down yardage.
You got to remember last year when we saw this ball club, they did not have Dutra. Acevedo was really not that much of a factor in the ball game a year ago. Well, I guess I shouldn't say that. He was. He had 96 yards, 2 touchdowns. Not Acevedo. It was Dutra who was not the factor. Greg Donaldson had 3 catches for 58 yards. He hasn't been much of a factor today, but you throw in a guy like Moore, Acevedo, and get Dutra back, and you think this ball club has got some capable offensive people.
Dutra back was a pleasant surprise by them because they did not think he would be back midsummer. He underwent arthroscopic surgery last year, and they didn't think he'd be ready. Back to throw is Dutra, and this time pass goes incomplete and went through the hands of Rich Pugh, the tight end. They were looking for another quarterback because, quite frankly, they didn't know whether Dutra would be ready or not, and the prognosis would be thinking maybe not early, maybe by midseason they had hoped, but they just weren't really counting on him back after he had to go under reconstructive knee surgery. But back he is, and had a good week last week. Today he's 5 of 12, but has been pressured all day. Has been sacked 3 times. Second down and 10 for Culver Stockton at their own 21. Dutra rolling left, tries to escape a tackler, dances ahead to the 24 before he's wrapped up and taken down. Gains 3 yards, but it's going to be 3rd down and 7.
Bill Parker, freshman linebacker, in on the stop for the Crusaders.
Parker, one of Evangel's internationals, Rob.
Yes. An international from Germany. Stockton.
Crusaders also have a couple of Canadians on the ball club. One of the Blake Bunting. Kind of have a fan club. You see them carry some Evangel students carrying a Canadian flag out in the field. It's honoring those guys, I guess. Their own little fan club, perhaps. Dutra back to throw on 3rd down and 7. Lofts a pass over the middle looking for Moore, and the pass is broken up. Moore was wide open, but coming out of there, Arthur Brooks, the freshman free safety, broke the pass up. A nice play by Brooks.
Moore thought he was wide open, and in fact, when the ball was left and when he was running, he was wide open, but Brooks coming out of the area by the sideline, got to the middle of the field and got enough of the ball to knock it away. I think it was a case of where Moore heard Brooks coming, and then Arthur got a piece of the ball to knock it away.
Bob Hawk in to punt it away, stands at his own 11. He'll knock it away from about the 15. Nate Bell in to receive the punt. High hanging punt. Bell has it at the 42. Cuts upfield at the 50 and is stuck hard there. And the Crusaders again, good field position. Another late flag comes in. Evangel has the ball at the 50. We'll see what the penalty flag is about. 2:37 left to play in the first half. Evangel leading Culver Stockton 29-0 in their home and Heart of America Conference opener.
You know, just looking at Nate Bell, and he reminds you a little bit the way he likes to return punts of a guy that also plays on this field named Chuck Calhoun for SMS. Bell a little bit bigger and probably a little stronger type of runner because Calhoun's about 145 pounds. But they both have that same attitude. They want to get back there and recover the punt. And like you were saying, he was upset that he didn't get a chance to return a punt the last time because of the recovery. I mean, he wants to return it that bad. And I think that's something you have to have, that ability. You have to want to get back there and let guys take shots at you to be a good punt returner.
And guys take shots at you going full speed. It's a tough. You got to be tough to return those punts. Culver Stockton assessed with a personal foul, and Evangel now has the ball moved up 15 extra yards. They have it at their own 36. Pitch ahead to Gavin Jones, cuts at the 35, inside the 30, escapes a tackler and is down at the 21-yard line. On the shuffle pass, Gavin Jones getting good yardage and a first down for Evangel as he picks up about 15.
Guy I felt sorry for was A.J. Phillip, the inside linebacker. 205 pounds. He's not all that big. And you take a look at the two guys the Crusaders had out there. I want to say they had Bent and Robinson out there. It may have been the other two guys, but either way, he was double-teamed by a couple of guys who go 255, 260.
That's that strong side of that line we were talking about.
And he just had no chance on that play.
I formation set. Hand off to Clark at the 20. Big hole. He's at the 15, the 10. Breaks a tackle at the 5. Diving touchdown. 22-yard touchdown run by Derek Clark. Breaking tackles at the 10. Stumbling forward from the 5 on into the end zone. Clark's 4th touchdown of the day.
His 4th touchdown of the first half. His 3rd of the second quarter.
That was a simple run right up the middle. A big hole opened up. And Clark is next to impossible to bring down once he gets through there. Knowles in for the extra point. Snap is back. Ball is down. Knowles' kick is on the way and perfect. Exactly 2 minutes left in the first half of play. The Crusaders take a 36-0 lead over Culver Stockton. Back after this 30-second timeout.
How long was it?
22. A reminder coming up at the half, Paul K. Logston, his weekly halftime segment. He'll be talking with Chuck Cox, Evangel's Director of Alumni Relations. That's coming up at the half here in Evangel Crusaders football. The Crusaders have posted 30 points on this Culver Stockton team in the last 13 minutes. 36-0 Evangel as Knowles kicks off to the Wildcats. Acevedo back to return this kickoff. He takes it from the 6 at the 20-yard line now and wrapped up and taken down right there at about the 20 or 21-yard line. Maybe that's something to be said, Rob, is maybe their kickoff returners are getting tired. They had to have Acevedo coming in to return the kickoff for the first time today.
Number 38.
I was thinking more in terms of the young man who carries the flag down below and runs back and forth after every touchdown. I'm going to have to watch it. That guy might have some health problems today running around out there so much.
Minute 55 to play in the half. Well, they'll have the halftime to rest up, but still, it's been a busy half.
I remember when the Chiefs played the Chicago Bears one day in the preseason. This was back when they played at Municipal Stadium, and they won something like 54-21 or something like that. And Dick Butkus's comment was they almost killed that horse that guy rode back and forth after every one of their scores.
War paint, I remember that.
Yep.
Culver Stockton's going to burn a timeout here with a minute 55 left as Dutra climbed under center. Did ball at their own 21. And they'd like this some positive note to end the half on. 3 wide receivers out to the near side, 1 to the left. Lone back is Chris Moore behind the quarterback, Dutra. And Dutra back to throw. A short drop. Now under pressure. Flushed out of the pocket. A flag is down. Dutra scrambles to the 20, the 25, and is tripped up on a nice tackle. And another late flag's come raining in from everywhere as the play went out to the Evangel sideline, and I'm afraid that might be on the Crusaders.
Keith Bearfield talking to Matt Ragsdale there.
Stop was made for number 26, Craig Noakes.
Craig Noakes gets credit for the tackle, and it's going to be a personal foul on the Crusaders.
Dutra scrambled ahead for about 3 yards, make it 4 yards, and then you'll get 15 yards tagged to the end of that.
This has been a series in which the Wildcats have, when you look at the scores in the series, you can understand where some of these games could be frustrating games because the Crusaders have become accustomed to having some success against Culver Stockton, and the Wildcats on a couple of occasions have been on the short end of the score, which makes you frustrated. And, well, for some reason, when these two teams play, we see a high number of personal fouls.
Yeah, that's true, and I know it has to be at least doubly frustrating for Culver Stockton today because they certainly had higher expectations of what this football game would be like than it is right now. And the Crusaders, that time though, I'm sure Coach Bearfield not happy with that penalty. We don't need that to help Culver Stockton out. They have the ball now at their own 42. Dutra flushed out of the pocket, fires a pass on the run, and it's tipped and incomplete. Breaking up the pass that time at the linebacker spot was Matt Willard.
And Michael Odom that time, Ed, was putting pressure on Dutra and forced him to run for his life. He was able to get around Chris Moore to avoid the block attempt of Moore. And after Ragsdale let go of the ball, Odom put him down on the turf and forced him to rush his pass, and I think that's had an effect on Dutra today.
It really has. He's 5 of 14 passing. Hasn't completed one in a while, 54 yards of passing. And he short hops his intended receiver there and may have rushed his delivery again.
You know, you harken back to successful football coaches, and I know we see this on TV in the promoting of video on TV, but Al Davis talking about the other team's quarterback, and he must go down, and he must go down hard. And, you know, that's in the NFL, but it works on the college level as well. And Dutra has been thrown for losses and thrown down on several occasions after he's released the pass.
Something else, I don't think Culver Stockton wanted to throw the football this much today. He's done 15 times already and make it 16. No, it's a draw play to Acevedo, who's met in the backfield, and down he goes at the 40. A loss of 3 yards in the draw play. Evangel read that one well. And it's going to be 4th and long coming up, and Evangel's going to get the football back before the end of the half. 1:17 left in the first half of play.
I wouldn't be surprised to see the Crusaders work on the ground game a little bit more now, particularly when we get into the second half with a 36-0 advantage.
Receive this punt. Brad McSlovic back deep to receive. Snap back to Hawk, the punter. High spiraling kick. It's short. It bounces at the 32. Takes a Culver Stockton bounce inside the 20. And will be down about the 18 or 19-yard line of Evangel.
And Derek Overton is going to go out and run the offense. John Skeens and company has put 36 points on the board in less than a half. And you're going to see some second-team players. Of course, you got to remember the game that Overton had against Culver last year up there. He threw 4 touchdown passes.
So the Wildcats not exactly happy to see him as he takes the field. But going back to Dutra, he threw 17 times last week. And when you've got a running attack of Acevedo and Chris Moore, you would like them to dominate the offense. But Moore's hardly carried the ball. 5 carries today. Acevedo's had a bunch of carries, but it's been Dutra that's had to throw the ball. Hand off to Honore, who pounds his way ahead to the 25-yard line. A pickup of about 6 on the first down play.
Number 34, Honore.
But you'd like to have Chris Moore handle the football quite a bit, and Acevedo to counter that and throw the ball a little bit.
Well, the turnovers.
They've had to play catch-up ball.
The turnovers have made that a must because the Crusaders have taken advantage of their opportunities. That has forced Culver to throw the ball more than they would want to.
It's second down and 3 yards to go, and they'll let the clock run out for the first half. After one half, Evangel putting up an impressive second quarter scoring spurt, scoring 30 points in the second quarter alone, and they laid 36-0 over the Culver Stockton Wildcats at the halftime break. We'll be back to recap the scoring after this 2-minute timeout on KLFJ.